8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a pleasure to have this opportunity to give this presentation to you tonight. As you might know, my name is Johan Kloppers. I'm a senior student at the University of Pretoria. I also would like to make use of this opportunity to thank Ms. Ms. Shirley Carroll, as well as Jolene McIntosh from Loneal College, Prophet College Loneal, for this opportunity for me to speak with you guys tonight. And I honestly hope that the information that I will give you tonight will help you to make more informed but also wise decisions for the future. So as you can see, I'm going to share my presentation with you tonight, and it's going to be touching a whole bunch of information regarding the University of Pretoria, but also in general about making decisions regarding studies as well as career choices. So at the University of Pretoria, you will find that we know that there's certain challenges that learners and students face today. These challenges already starts in grade 9, when a grade 9 learner have to make some subject choices. Then while the student is at university, that's the whole thing about not falling out, or maybe just to hang in there, and when the tough times come, to make sure that you pass your subjects. And then obviously at the end, to make sure that you prepare yourself for the workplace environment. So those challenges are real, and we know that. And that's why we at the University of Pretoria have a whole bunch of programs in place to address these challenges and to help and support learners at school and the students at university itself to overcome these challenges, and at the end of the day to make sure that they can be successful in life. The first thing that we focus on is the Junior Techie. Now, the Junior Techie is a program specifically for grade 9, 10, 11, and 12 learners. And the Junior Techie focus mainly on 3 things. The first thing is to make sure that you can actually improve your marks at school. So the idea behind that is to have programs we offer online, but also on campus at the Hatfield campus in Pretoria, where you will be able to improve your understanding in what you're studying at school. So that will help you then to improve your marks, because your marks is important for you to further your studies after school. The second thing that Junior Techie also focus on is developing you as an individual. So as a scholar, you still need to develop your people skills, your organizing skills, your leadership skills. Things like communication skills, time management skills, organizational skills. So there's a lot of skills that you have to develop, but you don't always learn it from a textbook. So those are the things we also focus on at the Junior Techie. And then the third thing is also important to adapt or actually bridge the gap between school and university. Because it is, the fact is that it's quite daunting for a first year student the first time that they step onto a campus at university. And the Junior Techie can actually help you on bridging that gap in. So there's a couple of things we actually offer at the University of Pretoria if it comes to the Junior Techie program. Things like career and study guidance. That already is for the grade 9s doing subject choices, but also for grade 11 and 12s. preparation for the national benchmark test. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. Skills development, I already mentioned. There's a summer school and winter school, and the list go on. So in order to join the Junior Techie, you can actually download the app. Now, the app is not an app that you can get from the Google Play Store or the Apple iStore. You actually, it's a web-based app. So you go onto that juniortechieapp.co.za and you download it from there. That means you can get access to the information from any device. And to be honest with you, we communicate with our junior techies mainly through the app. So information about, career developments, industry changes, information about the projects we're running on campus and off campus. That's all that you can get through the app then. We also have the Junior Techie website. So you're welcome to go and visit that www.up.ac.za/Junior Techie. So there you'll find a lot of information about the Junior Techie as well, and also how to join. Now, as a student then at university, like I said, you also have other challenges, making sure you don't drop out, or at least that you make sure you pass all your subjects and so on. So we have got this Fly at UP initiative in which we support our students to make sure that they can actually complete their studies in the shortest possible time. So if you're enrolled for a 3-year BCom degree, for example, that you can finish it within 3 years' time. The second thing we also have there, for example, is the Ready to Work program. Now, this program has been set up by our career center on the Hatfield campus to support our students, to make sure that they can get in contact with the people in the industry, set up their CV in a professional way, prepare themselves for the interviews, getting work experience on a part-time basis. All that has been done through this program as well. In the classroom environment, obviously, we're also making use of a hybrid learning teaching platform. So this is where we actually have a blend of the face-to-face teaching enriched by the virtual online learning tools. So as you can see there, there's still your traditional lectures. So by saying that, all our programs we offer is still full-time programs. So we don't offer any online programs on an undergraduate level where you can still be, for example, in Cape Town or in Durban or wherever, and do your studies in correspondence. You still have to attend classes with us at the University of Pretoria, at our Hatfield campus, or what other campus you're attending. But then also we have got this online tool, what we call the ClickUp UP, where you're making use of wikis and blogs and other online study materials that you can have access to enrich your understanding of what you're studying. So it's not only the lecture that gives you understanding what you're studying, there's other methods also work. And by the way, during this lockdown period, all our students have done their tests online as well. So even tests, your exam tests and so on, exam sessions are done online even as well. Student life. Now, I suppose all of your parents listening tonight will also agree with me that being a student is actually one of the best times of your life. And we also understand that from the university's point of view as well, because through having a vibrant student life, you also develop as an individual. So from a sports point of view, we've got excellent sports facilities, world-ranked coaches that help and support our athletes to develop themselves, to reach their best potential. We are proud to be Varsity Cup winners in a variety of sporting codes, like, for example, the hockey, the netball, the rugby. So a variety of sport activities that you can actually take part in. Even sports that you don't even know as actually exist even, all the Olympic type sports you can even think about will also be available at the university. Then there's also in your arts and drama divisions, there's also a lot of other activities you can take part in. We also take part in international competitions when it comes to choirs, the symphony orchestra. Like I said, there's drama activities. So all of those type of things are also available for our students. From the dynamic student structures point of view, we've got the CRC that is there for you to engage with. The student societies, a lot of different student societies to actually to become part of. And then Tix FM, the radio station that you also might be acquainted to already. We've got various different residences available. To be honest with you, we've got 24 different student residences on different campuses. We've got your traditional type of races where, depending on your gender, I've got a men's race or a ladies' race that you can join. And through that, you also be able to take part in sport leagues like, your rugby leagues or soccer leagues or hockey leagues where the different houses compete with each other. We also have your non-traditional races, which will be, for example, we actually only have your own room, but you come and go as you wish. So there's no participation in any of the sport activities or sport leagues then. We also have got day houses. Now, this day houses is specifically for students who actually don't stay on campus or staying in one of the races, but through the day house, by joining a day house, you can also engage with the sport activities and culture activities we have, and having that vibrant student life as well. Coming towards the academical side, we've got 9 different faculties. So what you find is this faculties is also spread over different campuses in Pretoria. Majority of them are based on the Hatfield campus, but you find that the education has been offered on our Groenkloof campus. Then you have the health sciences that's offered at our Printshof campus, and you have got the veterinary sciences on Onderstepoort campus. The one there at the bottom right, the Gordon Institute of Business Science, that's based in Johannesburg though. And for those who are aspire to go and do your Masters of Business Administration or MBA, for example, that's the place to go. But in other ways, we've got 9 different campuses that makes us one of the largest universities in South Africa. So why choose University of Pretoria? I would say 3 things stands out. The one is excellence. All we do in terms of academics, in terms of research, in terms of how we actually deal with things that is, solving problems in terms of future issues, we focus on excellence. Diversity, we understand that through diversity we have got strength as well, and the fun factor, obviously. Like I said already, within the student life focus we understand that you actually develop as an individual by having fun as well. On choosing UP, I can also say, we are on the top 1.9% of universities in the world according to the QS rankings. Our law faculty has done amazingly well with a moot court session last year. They've won an international moot court session, but yeah, they're on the top 80 faculties in the world. You also find, obviously, we are on one of the largest research incentive universities with the biggest amount of PhD lecturers that's offering classes from all the other universities currently. UP's first year chartered accountant students have obtained a pass rate of 99.5%. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a magnificent performance. It's difficult to actually get that type of performance from this type of test that's been done. Veterinary sciences, we are the only university currently that offers veterinary sciences that's been offered at our Onderstepoort campus. But not only the one in South Africa, the best one because the only one, but one of the top 50 faculties in the world. So we up there in amongst the top universities if it comes to the veterinary sciences as well. We are proud of the fact that we are the top engineering school in South Africa currently. Our pass rate is an 83.5% pass rate, and we've got a percentage of 93 of our students, 93% of our students actually get employment once they actually are completing their studies. Even while they study, some of them already get employment after they've qualified. As we also have mentioned, in terms of sports, we've got world-class facilities and world-class trainers. We are very proud of the fact that Tatiana Schoenmaker has won the Sportswoman of the Year award, apart from the fact that she also have done very well in Commonwealth competitions in 2011 as well. We also have got Akani Simbani, who is South Africa's sprinter. He's our gold medalist in the 100 meter with the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games in 2018 as well. So yeah, all of these are athletes that also aspires to actually also compete in the Olympics coming up as well. So now back to the questions and the challenges that faces students. What will be your next step? Well, mainly, as you can see there, three things you have to focus on at this stage as a learner. Make sure that you decide on a career that is suitable for you. I'm going to speak about that in a second. Also work hard academically because you need to have high marks in order to excel into further studies after school, and then qualify for the admission towards the course that you want to do in terms of the degree you want to do as well. So making decisions in terms of career, that's a difficult one. A lot of students struggle with that. So what you find is I've got 5 points here that I would like to share with you that you can consider when it comes to making decisions for a career. The first one at the bottom is your personal vision. Now that is your personal goals, your taking account, for example, what your mission in life is. What is the contribution that you would like to make in life, if I can put it that way. Also, in terms of your calling, have you figured out what is your calling in life? That's something that nobody's going to tell you. You have to figure it out for yourself. But by aligning your calling and your mission in life with your career will help a lot when it comes to making decisions in the future. The second thing is work ethics. Now, a lot of career fields have a high level of work ethics that they require. So, if you are a lazy person and you would like to go in a professional field, for example, where there's a lot of deadlines and things like that, then you're going to have a tough time. But if you're going to apply work ethics already at school level, in other words, if you know you've got an assignment that is due for next week Thursday, but next week Wednesday you maybe have to write a test, and on a Tuesday you've got some sport activities going on, you're not going to have enough time to do this assignment to the best of your ability, and you then decide to start with your assignment today already, then you're applying work ethics, because then what happened is you decide to do something that you need to do without anybody telling you to do it. And that's the definition of work ethics, to do something that needs to be done without anybody telling you to do it. So deciding on a career field that aligns with your work ethics will also help you to excel as well. The third thing that we focus on is your personality. Now, each of us have got a different type of personality. The way we actually deal with stress, the way we deal with working with other people in a team environment, for example, time management, all those different things is different from all of us. So by choosing a career field that actually aligns with your personality will help you to enjoy what you're doing as well, because then you can just be who you are, in other words. Aptitude, that is your skills and your abilities. That's things that helps you to navigate through life easier. Some of us are good in communicating with other people, or figuring out different equations mathematically, for example. Others of us are more equipped with working with our hands and designing things. So all of us have got different skills and talents. So the idea behind your aptitude is to use your aptitude and align it with your career, because then you're going to be actually good in what you're doing. And when you are good in what you do, you're actually going to be in demand. And when you're in demand, then you can set your price. Then the last thing I've put on there is interest. Now, this is a very important one, because you need to have an interest in what you do as a job one day. But also, coming back to the field of studying, you need to have an interest in what you're going to study, because nobody is going to tell you, when you have to start with your studies, or what you have to do in terms of reading and studying the right things. So you need to have an interest in what you're going to study. So, you are the one that's going to have to sit in front of the textbooks, in front of the computer, doing research and finding resources and all that. So you need to have an interest in those type of studying as well. But one day when you're in the workplace environment and you're actually already employed, or you're running your own business, you have to be excited on what you do as a job one day. And that is why interest is such a critical thing. Now, the last thing I would like to point out there is job shadowing. And this is actually a challenge I would like to give to the parents at this point. You know, getting the getting the opportunity or giving the opportunity for your child to experience what is really going on in the workplace environment, help them to make a choice between what they really would like to do as a job as well. So I would like to encourage all the parents, making sure that you actually create opportunities for your child to actually get exposure to the fields that they think they've got an interest in or what they want to do one day. Some of our courses we offer, especially the selection course I'm going to talk about later, those courses require that you need to have some specific experience as well. So why do I need to excel? Now, the thing is, when it comes to enrolling with universities, we receive way more applications than we can accommodate. As you can see there, we receive more than 43,000 applications a year. We can only accommodate 10,000 first-year students. So that's a dilemma. So obviously, we're going to choose the students with the highest marks, if I can put it that way. Application, or sorry, I beg your pardon, admissions to programs is dependent on academic achievement. That's the basics. So if you've got good marks, then you're going to be standing a better chance at the end of the day. Now, one thing I would like to make sure that you also get the information about is the fact that your grade 11 and grade 12 marks determine your admission to programs. When you are in grade 12, you're going to have to apply with your grade 11 results if you haven't applied already. So grade 11, if you're tuning in tonight, please hear from me. That is, your grade 11 is a very, very important year. You have to make sure you can get the highest marks possible in grade 11 so that you can use that marks when you're in grade 12 next year to apply. All right, so give the best you can, study hard, make sure you get the marks because you're not going to be disappointed next year then. Grade 12s, if you realize that you haven't got the marks required for that to apply for the course you want to do, it means maybe that you're going to have to take a gap year. And then in your gap year, you're going to be able to use your final grade 12 results to apply them. Reach for the stars, just as a motivational factor, you'll find that based on your grade 11 results, and if you apply before the 1st of May, you are guaranteed admission to a non-selection program if you've got 75% or more. Now, I'm going to explain to you in a few minutes what is a selection course and what is a non-selection course. If you've got 85% or more, you also guaranteed placement at the UP residence, all right, if you've applied before the 1st of May, that is. Based on your final grade 12 results, there is what they call achievement awards that you can have a look at. It will find it varies between 6,500 and 40,000 that you can actually get as a reward. So how do I qualify? How do I get into the programs at the University of Pretoria? Now, what you find is I've got an example on the screen that is the admission requirement for the BSc Biochemistry. All right, so this is just an example. What I would like to point out there is, first of all, what the faculties will do is they will look at, do you've got the right subjects for the specific course you would like to enroll? So in this case, for the BSc Biochemistry, they require that you need to have English, you need to have mathematics, that is your pure maths or core maths, like I also call it, and you need to have physical sciences. So if you haven't got physical science as a subject, and you would like to apply for BSc Biochemistry, that means your application is not going to be successful, unfortunately. So if you're in grade 9 and you're tuning in tonight, that's why choosing the right subject is so important. All right, so make sure that you choose the right subjects for the type of field that you have got an interest in. So that's the first thing they look at. Do you've got the right subjects? Then second thing they look at is, do you've got the right marks for that specific subject? Now remember, this is now based on grade 11 marks if you want to apply. And then when you register going into your first year, and they're going to look at your final grade 12 results, it also need to meet these requirements. So application purposes, if you're in grade 11 tonight, this is what you need to aim for example. If you want to go into biochemistry for your English, you need to have a level 5. So a level 5, for example, is then 60% or more. Mathematics, also a level 5. Physical sciences, also level 5. So you need to make sure for all 3 of your subjects, you need to have a level 5. A lot of students will come to me and say, oh, listen, sir, I've got my English on the 70%. My physical science is also on a 60% level 5, but my mathematics is on level 4. Can I still apply? The answer is no. You need to make sure that you've got all the subjects on the required levels that's required. So you need to make sure you've got all the marks required as well. Then last but not the least is the APS score, the admission point score. Now you find there that it's a number 32 there. So you have to have an admission point score of 32 to be also considered. Now, how we calculate the APS score, you can see there, what we do is we take in account all your best 6 subjects, all right? So as you can see at the bottom, we don't include life orientation on the calculation for the APS. And it's mainly because the life orientation is a 10 credit subject where all the other subjects are 20 credit subjects. So what we do is we add up all your best 6 subjects for that you have, all the best 6 subjects, including the subjects required for the course you would like to enroll. So coming back to the previous slide, so this include then mathematics and physical sciences. So if you have had, for example, an 8th subject or even a 9th subject, you can't replace your 8th or your 9th subject with mathematics or with physical sciences. You need to include the mathematics and physical sciences when you calculate the APS score. So you work with your best 6 subjects, including the subjects required, but excluding life orientation to calculate the APS score. Now, mathematics or mathematic literacy, that's always the big question. Now, you'll find that it's important that you make sure that you pass mathematics. If you do, all is well, then you can go for it. But if you at this point of time struggle with the mathematics and you barely pass mathematics, we at the university recommend that you consider taking mathematic literacy. And the reason for that is, ladies and gentlemen, is not to say that if you just barely pass mathematics, that mathematics is going to be easier at university. Even at university level, it also becomes more difficult. But if you do pass mathematics, carry on with that because it opens us more doors. It is reality. So, but with mathematic literacy, you can see there's still a variety of different fields you can go into. We've got education opportunities for you to go in education. There's humanities that includes things like psychology and criminology and sociology. There is theology, there's law that you can even study. We even have got 2 IT courses if you've got mathematic literacy. But the fact is, if you want to go into any field where there is if you have got an interest in the sciences, or if you've got an interest in the business studies, engineering, the health sciences, all of those requires pure mathematics. Now, what is the difference between your selection programs and non-selection programs? Because there is a bit of a difference, and it's important that, especially if you're in grade 11 and in grade 12, that you take notice what the difference is. The first one is a non-selection program. Now, a non-selection program is where academic selection is based on school results, in other words, your grade 11 results, and is considered for provisional admission as the application is being received. So in other words, they work on a first come, first service basis. So as the applications comes in, and they can see that you've got the right subjects, the right marks for those subjects, and the right APS score, then they process the application and they give you what they call conditional admission based on your grade 11 results. And then they wait for your final grade 12 results, and they will, based on your final grade 12 results, will admit you in order to register. Okay. So your grade 11 results will reserve a space, basically, and your grade 12 results will help you then to register then. So the non-selection programs, they work on a first come, first service basis. So the important thing here is to make sure you apply in time. So if you're in grade 12, you will find if you haven't applied as yet, some of our programs are already filled up and therefore they're closed. So please make sure that if you're in grade 11 this year and you're thinking of applying next year, to do it as soon as possible. We open applications every year on the 1st of March. So every year on the 1st of March, you can submit your application, and you'll find that we'll be able to process it if you've got the right subjects, the right marks for those subjects, and the right APS score, and you'll be able to reserve a space for you while there is still space. Now also, you'll find there in the bottom of the screen, they talk about the extended programs. Now the extended programs is also non-selection programs, but it's specifically developed for students who do not meet all the minimum requirements for the normal courses. So what happens with the extended program is you've got less subjects in your first year. And because you've got lesser subjects in your first year, the workload is lesser, and therefore we can also reduce the admission requirements. So if you realize, if you're currently in grade 12 and you realize you haven't got the right marks for the specific subjects required, then you can consider maybe taking up or applying for an extended program. And then once you completed your first year, you can continue on with your program. And it means that if you're enrolled for a extended program in, for example, the BCom Business Studies, you'll be completing it in 4 years, where the normal program is usually 3 years. That's the only thing. But you still get exactly the same degree. The qualification is exactly the same. You just extend it with 1 year. Now for selection programs, that's a bit different though. You see, what happens with the selection programs is they've got an earlier closing date. So they've got a specific closing date. For example, majority of them will be on the 31st of May or on the 30th of June. And then what happens is they will wait for all the applications that meets the minimum requirements. In other words, which got the right subjects, the right marks, the right APS score. They wait for all the applications that comes in up until that specific closing date, and then they'll close applications. So if you wake up a bit late and you decide you would like to go and study, for example, dentistry, which is a selection course, and you apply on the 1st of June, sorry, they're not going to take the application in because you have missed the closing date. You have to apply before the closing date. Now, with a selection then, you'll find that they will look at your grade 11 results if you apply in grade 12. So your grade 11 results will determine about 60% of the selection, all right? So the higher your marks, the better chance you stand to be selected. And then they also have got additional selection criteria, all right? So this is other things they also look at in order to do the selection. Now, the first thing they talk about there is a national benchmark test. Now, this is applicable for all the health sciences courses, okay? So all the health sciences, so medicine, dentistry, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, you know, the variety of all the different health sciences courses we offer all require that you need to write the national benchmark test. So the national benchmark test, you'll find it's an independent test. It is not a test that's been set up by the University of Pretoria, but the same as with other universities, we make use of this test to select students. So you'll find it consists of 2 papers. The one is your academic literacy and quantitative literacy paper, and the second one is the mathematics paper. Now, the first one is quite straightforward. It's like a comprehensive test, and also your quantitative literacy is everyday mathematics that you need to apply and so on. So it's not that difficult, to be honest. The second one can be quite difficult because you have to do the mathematics without using a calculator. All right, so that's where the trouble comes in. So what we usually suggest that you need to prepare yourself in advance for this mathematics paper specifically. And you book this test in advance also on the National Benchmark Test website. And you choose your date and your venue where you would like to write it. Now, this year there was even online options as well to write it online. I'm not too sure how it's going to be taking place next year, but this year there was an option for that. But nevertheless, so the national benchmark test is an independent test, and the faculties will also look at that as part of their selection. Now, there's also other things like the value-added form. That's specifically for the veterinary sciences. So if you would like to go into that, then you have to complete a value-added form to show us that you have been taking times, or you have been spending time with a vet or a vet nurse, depending on what you actually want to do then, that you have got exposure, especially then towards what they call production animals, farm animals. All right, so it's not only domestic cats and dogs they want you to get exposure to, but also your production animals or farm animals. For your architectural studies, and also your fine arts, as well as your information design, there's a portfolio that you need to complete. And then last but not the least, there's if you want to go into drama or music, there's also auditions that you have to go and do. So all of these things will add up towards your selection, or they call your merit point score. So your academic results, your grade 11 results, together with your MBT results for health sciences, or together with your value-added form for the veterinary sciences, or your portfolio for architectural studies, that will add up to your merit point score. And depending where you lie with your merit point score on the selection list, that will determine whether or not you're going to be selected. All right. The one thing that I would like to point out that's very important is the fact that if you are considering applying for a selection course, you need to put it as your first choice, all right? And then as a second choice, you need to put a non-selection program. And the reason for that is quite simple. If you apply for a selection course and you've put it the second choice, they're not going to bother look at it because they receive way too many applications that they can accommodate, all right? So please make sure you put it as a first choice. And then a second choice, a non-selection program. So if it happens then that you're not being selected, that at least you can be accommodated with your second choice, which it's a first come, first service basis then. All right. Great. How to apply at University of Pretoria? You do it online. You also find you actually do it the same if you do apply for residences. So you applied also online with the same application process. We require that you need to submit a copy of your ID, your grade 11 results, and there's an application fee of 300 Rand. Once you've applied, you'll be able to track your application process online as well by logging in on your UP student portal, like we call it. So by logging in on that with the student number that will be given to you, you can track your application process. All right, so that brings me to the end of the presentation. I would like to know if there's any questions. I know that they said that they might give us or send us some questions if you want. But you'll find also my email address is also on the screen there. So should you would like to send me an email with some questions, you're welcome to do it as well. Okay, I see the reply there. There's no questions at this point of time. But that will bring us into the end of our session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate that you've made some time for that. And I want to wish you all the very best of luck. Study hard, give the best you can. And then for the grade 12s, next year we'll see you at UP and have a good time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.